Welcome to the Women to Women podcast, where we talk about real life stuff like what is your favorite mascara, how to show up the very best you can for both your career and your family, and even the very best strapless bra. We leave our titles at the door and spend an hour once a month just being women. Welcome, and we are glad you are here.
Every podcast, our lighting is like the thing. So
I have like the cute little like movable solution thing to put up at like like events and stuff. And I thought about putting it behind me, but then I was like, oh, that might be too extra. So as long as it looks good to you guys, because like I'm not in the office.
No, I think it looks good. What about you, Nicole?
I'm still playing with mine, so I can't even see y'all.
You look beautiful, baby. Oh, I
Thank
love that dress.
Thank you. I'm really like leaning into my greens. This is all thanks to wonderful Jen Clements. Like I have to tell you, I get so many compliments, Laura, so many.
She's a
And
rock star.
I did that color analysis with her, and it is dead on. Like I'm supposed to do blues and greens and yellows, and I would have never done yellows, can I just say, ever, because I would have thought it would have flushed me out, and it does the opposite. So every time I get a compliment, which I got to tell you, anytime I do these colors, I talk about Jen. So she's amazing. You know, people think she just picks out clothes, and that's not correct. Like she does so much more than the stylist concept of go pick your rack of clothes, you know?
Well, I'm just super specific too on like, what you wear on your neckline. So our necklines, right? Like I can't wear V-neck cut stuff because it doesn't look right on my neckline.
Understood.
Right, and some women it looks great. I just don't like it.
It's worth every penny of her service. Like she asked me what stores I liked. I told her Macy's was like where I like to go for work. I showed up. She had picked out a rack of things I would never, ever, ever, ever have put on, Laura. Ever.
Uh-huh.
Cool. And I bought all of it because it all looked phenomenal. I mean, she's talented, super talented.
Well, she dresses foul too, and foul.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But
so I was going to say, so you have this outline. I know Ashley has a home inspection appointment. Okay. So where I'm coming in on two wheels, she'll be leaving on two wheels. So I know she's looking at me like, Nicole, quit talking about Jen Clements and let's get right to the damn outline.
She reads my face.
And listen,
anything.
Me and Ashley work so damn well.
I'm like, I was thinking, man, I really need to call her. That's really what I was thinking. But then I was like, all right, yeah, I really need to get on my
100%. I'm not kidding. Worth every damn penny. The color analysis, I highly recommend. And then even the clothes. I was supposed to do the closet thing with her, and I did.
Yeah,
I'm sure that's amazing too. So anywho.
Yeah. Well, I'm like Crystal. I'm more of like a thrift store. Like I buy a lot of stuff from the thrift store, but
when I get skinny enough, I will, but I still got that like extra poundage problem going on. So I can just grabbing stuff off the rack and try. Listen, I don't care. This makes the podcast. Sam's Club. I was in there like 2 weeks ago. This is why I say this. Let me say, Ashley McDougal and Crystal, we were at the pool. I don't even, Crystal's birthday a few weeks ago. And both of them separately, because they love me such, separate, privately, Nicole, get that damn bathing suit off and go get you one that fits, right? And I mean, and then Ashley being subtle afterwards, sending me links of like, what you think of this, what you think of that, and, like, so, and my girls love me because they like, you look not right, like get off the baggy bathing suit, right?
She looked like she had her mom's bathing suit on.
Straight up. And listen, I don't even know that those two know that independently at the event and then after the event, they were both trying to fix my life, right? So I'm at the Sam's Club the next weekend, and Ashley sent me some links that I was just tossing. I'm an indecisive person. Ashley will know. Ashley pulls the trigger on the things. I talk and she pulls it. So that's how we work. And so I'm at Sam's Club, and there's this nice bathing suit that's hanging up. And I'm like,
yeah, they did have nice.
Ever buy anything like what you're, Laura, the thrift store. Like I just can't. My body's still in some transformation. I was like, screw it. I think I'm an extra large. Just grab it. So I got home like chef's kiss, and I love it. And so I just want to say for like a whole $18,
I know,
brand new bathing suit. So then also I was wearing too big of shorts, and I'm getting ready to see these dear friends of mine at another thing here coming. I know they're going to tell me I'm wearing baggy shorts, and I'm trying to get ahead of this shit. So at the Sam's Club last weekend, I need to stop going to the Sam's Club because my wallet's getting depleted. I got 2 pairs of shorts. Do you know they're $12.80 a pair? And I did the same thing, Laura. Again, they don't got dressing rooms at Sam's Club, so you just buy and pray. And
Mhm.
I got 2 pairs and they fit wonderfully and a whole
I love the
$15 a pair. So go.
It's because they
to
were
our
meant for you.
club.
They were meant for you. That's
Yeah.
I
why.
love it.
Yep.
Sam's
So,
I
has
love-
good clothes, but as a woman, I think bathing suits suck.
oh, for
Oh.
sure.
1,000
sure.
times over.
I hate it.
I have a long torso and you do too, Laura. So I bet you like one pieces suck for you because like I feel like I'm constantly like this in it. And so I can't do a
Because
one
it
piece.
pulls down. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Or if I loosen the straps, it looks like I'm trying to be like,
Like you're sagging.
no, or I'm trying to be like
Show the
Kim
cleavage.
Kardashian with boobies
Understood.
everywhere.
Understood. Understood.
So I have to do a two piece, and I'm not in the season of life where a whole bikini is appropriate, especially when my children are around. So
Uh-huh.
I struggle. I struggle so bad. But I love when people ask me like, "Where'd you get that?" And I'll be like, "The club. I got this at the club." And
Yeah.
they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Sam's Club."
Well, here's the other thing I find too with one pieces. I don't know if you find this, Ashley. Like, so, they sit on a normal girl, her belongings like this.
Yes.
But because of the torso and it pulls, it becomes like this. And I'm like, your girl can't wear this in public.
Right. And I've got a big butt. So now I look like boobies and butt. I'm like tits and butt. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay. That
Yeah.
won't make the
no booty
podcast.
duties, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay.
I mean, I think this is real problems though. This could be the podcast, like where
It
we talk
is.
about bathing suits and shorts and torsos and
And don't get me
who
started on
doesn't
the
relate to
short.
this stuff, y'all? I mean, this is some real deal stuff. Sometimes I wonder, Ash, Laura, you wouldn't know, but we have these kind of convos because anyone we've had on is someone we consider, we have good,
A friend.
People. Yeah.
good, whatever the word is. Ashley will know it, not me. And we talk about really good stuff.
Mhm.
That people care about. How many women have a problem with damn bathing suits, except for those real, special women? I'm not one of them.
Yeah.
Me either. And then here's the problem too, is that my legs are so long, you guys. So like a pair of shorts, it would be to like y'all's kneecaps or like up my butt.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, oh my God. And people always make comments like about my legs. And I'm like, I don't purposely but I'm not gonna walk around in
You have long
jeans.
legs. You have long legs, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
See, and then I have very short legs, so I look like Oompa Loompa. That, I just want you to know each side. No, but seriously, listen, as y'all doing this, then y'all with your long leg, your long torso. I'm serious. Like, you guys are critical of those things for yourselves. Short folks, my goodness, listen. And Jen, back to Jen. Jen taught me things like I'm supposed to when I wear long sleeves, I'm supposed to pull them up here because then it elongates. Because I also have T-Rex arms. So
Mhm.
it elongates the arm, and then on my legs, I'm not supposed to go past the calf. Like there's all these things. Pointy toe shoes for short people because it lengthens. I always wore round tip shoes. Anyhow, we're doing.
I bought a pair of pointy toe shoes.
Jen don't even know it.
It was the first thing that Jen said when I came to our women's women thing. She's like, "Where did you get those shoes? They are so cute, and they're the only pair of pointy toe shoes I own."
But see, I don't think you need pointed because you're tall.
I don't.
So then that makes you look even long. So then that goes to your thing where you're like, my legs are looking bare because that even makes it more accentuated because it lengthens you.
Well, the only time I ever wear closed-toed shoes is when I'm wearing either like slacks or like a long skirt that goes to my feet. Otherwise, I don't wear closed-toed shoes.
But not closed toe. I'm just talking about rounded or pointed. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So that's it. And I had no idea that was a thing. That's a thing. So,
Didn't know a thing. I bought a pair of pointed toed shoes. I thought they were the cutest thing, but my Frenchie chewed them. So clearly she thought I did not need them.
She was like, these are not needed. Go back to round with this.
Yeah. She thinks she's a stylist, clearly. So I saw you went rafting this weekend.
Oh, it was great. We go every year.
Where was that?
So we go to James River, a little area called Scottsdale or something like that, Scottsville.
How far away?
It's 3.5 hours.
Okay.
We did that for Father's Day one year. It was so fun.
So good. This year I boosted out though. Like I was like, you guys, I love all of you, but I cannot stay in a tent. I can't.
Oh, yeah.
So I got a little Airbnb, a little 1-bedroom Airbnb. It was a half a mile from them. So I was able to, it was like a 2-minute drive. I was able to go down there and hang out with them and camp with them ultimately until everybody went to bed. And then I went back to my Airbnb where the air conditioner was.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And maybe one of y'all can help me get over this. I've only done that. What is it? Where you go on the river and you float?
Rafting.
Okay, that you did that, right, Laura? That's
So
So I've only done that once in my life, and it was a couple years ago. And I didn't know you're supposed to bring shoes to like go in. And so I just put on like my Croc flip-flops. And so literally I kept slipping. And so I will say this was when I was still like I was probably 250 pounds, like I was very overweight. So I'm literally killing myself. My foot got caught in between two rocks, twisted my ankle. So I've never, because it was traumatic for me. However, if I would have brought the right shoes, I think it probably would have been an okay experience. And now that I'm healthier, I think I would be able to navigate a little better, but I'm scared. I mean, that was traumatic. I couldn't get a footing. Like and then two men had to help and stand up at all. I just kept drinking the drink the whole thing, which mind you was not great because when we got to the end and I had to get out, now
that's not good.
Intoxicated and so I told them, I said, y'all should post this to YouTube. It would go viral. Like it would.
Well, at James River, I tell you, it's great because you go up, they take you up in a bus, and you get your tubes at the top of the hill, and they make you have to have water shoes. They will not let you in the river without water shoes.
Yeah, see, there should have been a disclosure that like let people. I had never done such a thing, and we went camping. Lauren, I'm bougie like you. I rented a RV that got dropped off at the site.
Yep,
set up for me. Did you know that's a thing? You can let they drop them, and it about costs the same as an Airbnb because I'm not staying in a tent either. I'm too old, and I don't like being hot.
That's me.
Hot. Cannot be hot, and I'm not laying on a flat. I don't care that there's an air mattress or that. Forget it. So yeah, I did the RV, and we stayed at Jellystone, wherever that is. It was a couple hours away. And so we should plan that, Ashley. We should do like a little.
That would be fun.
That would be something
So
like
fun.
I think that'd be a cool thing to put in women to women, like, and just see who joins. And then
I would definitely go.
How everybody would get to know each other too. Like you really.
You get really bonded.
The guy that I stayed in his Airbnb, we could even reach out to him because I said to him yesterday when I checked out, I'm like, this is an annual trip. We do this every year.
Yeah.
The last 2 years, last year I pulled up the camper, but I'm getting ready to sell the camper. So this year I was like, I'm not messing with it. So I pulled up the camper last year. The first 2 years I slept in a tent. And I got myself like a nice cot. Of course, I brought all like Jim's Ryobi fans and all these things to keep myself cool. But even at that, you guys, I was sweating. And that's the thing is I don't want to be hot when I'm sleeping. The heat does not bother me any other time. But the guy that I rented his Airbnb, he said that he has 3 on one side and 3
get out
side of the road. So we could probably plan something and just find out like, hey, can you tell us when all 6 of your units are available? And then we could come up with a price and just kind of like.
I'm serious. We should. That would be a cool thing. Like,
you guys, it's so much fun.
It is fun.
Really is. It really is. I love it.
Yeah.
We went white water rafting one year, me and Jim and the kids. I would never do that again.
Never done that.
I would never do that.
Laura, I want you to know I'm just seeing your missed call, so I didn't ignore you.
Okay. It's okay, babe. Well, I only always let it ring 3 times. And I always figure like my rule of thumb is if we don't answer by like the middle of the 4th ring, we're busy.
They're not answering, right?
Yeah. So I just hang up and I'm like, whatever, they'll call back.
I leave mine on silent.
You would be amazed as many people know Nicole and how much she's done, how much she hasn't done. So when she was talking about like the rafting thing, it reminded me I don't know, it was like a couple months ago, we were eating crabs and she's sitting next to me whispering, how do I do it? How do I eat crabs? How do I break this open?
I didn't know how to pull it out.
So I'm literally picking her crabs for her.
The things that I am ignorant in blow people's minds.
But that's okay. That's okay. And you know what I always tell people? Sometimes like the simple things in life, like when you have a brain with a magnitude of like our brains, sometimes the simple things in life we just don't keep. You know what I mean? Like this.
Yeah.
Like, so if you tell me like a big piece of information, I'm like a sponge and I'll absorb. But I can't remember a conversation I had an hour and 20 minutes ago.
Oh yeah. That's menopause too, girl. Oh my God.
If it's not feeding me, you guys, like I just don't remember anymore.
Yeah.
It's bad.
And you know what's sad is I don't remember who I tell what. So like, for instance, especially with my oldest son home now, from school, I'll tell him like something that happened in my day. And then I'll say, Jason, I told you that. And he's like, no, you didn't. You never told me that. And I'm like, oh crap, I told Andrew. You know, like I had the worst, or I'll say, I told you that, Nicole. And she's like, no, you never told me that. And I'm like, oh, I must have told Jason. You know, like it's so crazy how our
Or then I
like
think once in a while she gets like low key pissed at me for something. And she don't ever get pissed. Like Ashley just gets quiet. And so when she got quiet, I already know. I'm like, ah. And then when we get on the phone, I'm like, I swear to God, either I didn't know it or I didn't see it. Like it's not anything like what.
Mhm.
It's so
it's
funny.
so crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy how menopause will totally like, and I think it's that and just all the things we're doing, right? We all of us
Mhm.
have so many things, and it's just so, but yeah, I think the rafting thing would be great. I took that as I'm gonna jump on that and execute.
Let's do it.
Yeah, girl, I think it'd be great. But listen,
Let's
Yeah.
do
before
it.
we jump
Yeah.
on and execute, can we make sure our weeks line up? Because I'd like to go.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. 'Cause
That's
sometimes
gonna be the
Ashley
hard.
will
We can
run.
make it
Ashley will
happen.
listen, Laura, it'll be done before we get off this podcast. And I'll be
Uh-huh.
out there on the damn women to women page. I'll be, hold up, I can't go that day. So I gotta like qualify shit with this one. And listen, I love it because I would think about it for 7 more weeks and then they'd be booked for next season. So I love it.
We all need that friend though. We all need that proactive friend that's
100%.
like, right. And so sometimes I feel like too, even trying to manage our lives, we all need that one friend who
Mhm.
is like, I'll take care of it. Like I've got an additional, 15, 20 minutes on my plate.
Yes.
Let me look it up. Let me handle it. Because
Yep.
I'm like that. I'm like, sometimes I walk around almost like in a state of fog,
Yeah.
sometimes. And it's like, okay, I know that I have to do something. I just can't remember what I have to do.
Yeah.
The friend
And
who's
get
like
paralyzed
proactive
with
one.
decision, which you wouldn't think. Like I have to make decisions all day, every day. Like someone walks in my door on my team, I can't. So I do that all day. But then when it gets to this kind of stuff, I paralyze myself with, what about that? What about like all the details? And that is, I think, sometimes a problem for an operational person is that they get lost in that sometimes. Whereas her, she's like, we'll figure that all after the fact. Let's get it plugged and then worry about that.
Right. And
Yeah.
see, that's a lot of times how I am is like I try not to because I've learned through all of the trauma that I've been through. You can't control everything.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you, Laura, because you have gone through so much, and and you've come out. I didn't know you before, but I'll tell
Mhm.
you, you're incredibly inspiring now. And I wanted to ask you, have you ever had a moment in your world that another woman showed up that had they not shown up, things would not have gone that direction? Like, do you have women that rally around you and that's what creates how inspiring you are? Or how did you dig deep? I'm really curious. How did you dig deep to be so inspiring with what you've gone through?
So one spot where I am not real good at life and I wish I was better, I self-isolate. When I am like going through something, I am so much better at figuring it out by myself. And then I feel like I can kind of wrap my head around it. And then when I'm ready to talk, I'll talk. But it's all of the things that have been thrown at me in life, girls, like starting with cancer. Like I was like, okay, here we are. I have these kids. Like I have to do this for these kids. It's not something I wanted to do. And it was female cancer. And like,
Mhm.
so I was still in construction then. And I think that kind of at that point, I learned like, okay, when you're up against these hard things, you have to kind of like do them alone
Mhm.
sometimes. And then when mom passed, that's when I learned, sadly, in my 30s, that the group of friends that I thought were my true friends
Mhm.
Mhm.
maybe weren't,
Mhm.
right? So when we moved to Virginia, I feel like better now. Like I have a core group of women now that I feel you two included, that like keep me going. I've called Nicole numerous times and be like, hey girl, like I need to just dump on you. Can you help me? Or,
Mhm. Yeah.
anytime I'm up against something now where before I wouldn't reach out. Like
Mhm.
before I would
That's
just
good.
self-isolate, try to figure it out, but I've gotten a lot better. And I'll share a dark moment with you guys. Probably about 8 months ago, I was sitting on the edge of the bed and I'm like, God, I can't. Like, I don't have the strength to keep doing this. Like, I can't keep doing this. I don't know. Like, you guys know entrepreneurship is not for the weak. Our paychecks are like this, right? So I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to keep doing this. I just don't know that I can manage. I don't know. And again, self-isolation moment. And I was just like, I just don't want to live anymore.
Mm.
And nobody knew this was going on, right? Because I was covering it all with a smile. But through everything I've gone through, I've been mentally healthy. I'm mentally healthy enough now that I can reach out and ask for help and not feel guilty.
Yeah.
So I reached out to my therapist. I reached out to Katie. I
Mm.
told Katie,
Can I ask, Laura, how did you get to like, because a lot of people are like you, I have two very close friends who are very much like that. They have to process it before they even
Mhm,
Mhm.
realize it.
mhm,
Um, so two things. One, I want to comment on what you said that in your 30s, like you evaluated friendships that weren't what you know, thought they were to be. And I think I just want to speak because I think that's something all of us go through,
mhm,
Mhm.
woman or man, where you are able to then, and what we don't know is that you're evaluating good time friends against, you know, surface friends, against ride or die friends. It's not
mhm,
necessarily that they're not friends. It's what are their capabilities based on where they are in their lives to show
mhm.
up as a friend, right? So that's a comment. But how did you work through, like, what do you do now when something presents itself that's challenging? How do you not isolate? Because that would be your default. So what do
Mhm.
you do when that strikes you, like where you want to withdraw and process? How do you change that? And what do you do now when that happens? Like, what's your process?
So I've learned through the years, if you talk about it, it makes
Mm.
it a lot easier, right?
Sure.
Because everybody, even though, like sometimes, especially when you're going through something rough, I don't need everybody's opinion, right? Like I
Right.
just need my people to listen. You know, if I need a question answered, I'm going to say, hey, how would you approach this? Or how would you go about this? So now I self isolate still a little bit, not as bad,
Okay.
but
Okay.
then it lets me just talk about it. It just lets me, I've learned through having a core group of strong girlfriends here. And this
Mhm.
is, everybody's always like, why didn't you go back to Florida? Why didn't you go back to, I have made a life in Virginia. The women in Virginia, the people in Virginia are just different. This is just,
Yeah.
it's so different here. And I'm like, I'm not giving that up. So now when I feel like I'm slipping into a dark spot, because again, I've gone through so much, it's kind of normal. I just reach out and I'm like, hey, listen, this is a problem I'm up against. After I self isolate and I figure it all out in my own brain, then I can call you and I can present it to you, and I'm not a mushy crying mess.
Yeah.
Right? Because when I'm calling you as my girlfriend, I'm trying to present something to you. If I'm a mushy crying mess, you're going to react solely off of my emotion if you're an empath. So I wait until my brain is clear. I've got this, like it's clear. Now let me call and ask so that there's no emotion involved on your end with your answer. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
so I've just learned when I self isolate, I deal with the emotional part of it. And then I can present it to my people and be like, how would you approach this? How would you do this? But I'm presenting it without emotion now.
Mm.
That, that's very valid. I'm flipped to that. Like, I remember calling Ashley several weeks ago. It was actually the morning of Mother's Day tea. And I
Mhm.
could not, you know, the Fallon sponsor,
Mm.
I could not hold the emotion back in my voice. I just couldn't. And I called her. There was just something that had occurred the evening before that just was, you know, and I knew I had to go to Fallon's thing and I had something else I had to be present for. But me and Ashley had some plans. I think it was a women's lunch she was hosting in Suffolk that day that I just knew I didn't have the capacity to be at. So I flipped that, Laura, where I used to be I didn't want to present the emotion for the same reasons as you. I didn't want that engagement. For me, particularly, it was the vulnerability. I didn't want people
Yeah.
to know that I couldn't handle what I was walking through. And so I've really been in a season of working on it's okay for me to show Ashley that I'm sad and I'm scared and I'm angry and I just am all jacked up and just present as that like this is a horrible morning. This is what happened the night before and be vulnerable. So that's interesting though on
Yeah.
your end because that is very sensible of like you want to pull the emotion back so
Yeah.
that you can get some non-emotional feedback, which I've never
Do
thought
you
of.
do you feel, Laura, because I'm with you, and I haven't publicly said this, but I'm working on being more transparent and open. In my life, I have compartments. So like you can be 100% in this compartment and I'll be wide open, but then there's this compartment that only a few people can get to. And so but do you feel like, I think for me personally, the feelings part, my feelings as a child, some of the trauma that I went through, my feelings were never validated. So
Right.
that's why when I go through dark moments, because let me just tell you, 8 months ago, I was in the same position you were. I was
Mhm.
looking for a bridge to drive off off my car off of. Honestly, I was driving through Smithfield looking for a bridge, and I was like, I'm done. Like, it would be better if I wasn't here. And sorry, but I isolated because the feelings that I had were never validated. So when I went through things as a child, I had to come with the solution, not the problem. And so that's how I always dealt with trauma or life. And do
Right.
you feel that that's the way that you, I know, is that, do you resonate with that?
Yes. And I feel like being a mom, you guys, there's so many eggs shoved into our basket, shoved in, shoved in, shoved in. And we're trying to manage and we're trying to hold it together for, our children. And if you have a spouse, and like in my case, I have 8 men that I have to provide for that are the breadwinners. If I don't come up with hours for them, like, so I feel like we have so much on our plate.
Okay, at
And it
first I
becomes
thought you
so
were a
hard.
sister wife.
No, no. And
Man,
it becomes so,
that is people that work for her, everyone.
I
yeah.
think what you're saying is the responsibilities we feel. I think that's also in regards to
Yeah.
independent, strong women that
And
we
it's
feel we're responsible for our teams or those that are dependent upon us. And
well, I think part of my self-isolation, you guys, though, I think is my dependency on myself. I'm like hyper independent. And I've gone through so much stuff sickly, as sad as it is to say, everything down to my funeral was planned. And I've been where you've been. Like, there's been times, I remember there was one time we were on a cruise ship and I'm like, I just want to jump in the water. Like, I know nobody's going to save me. Like, I just want to jump in the water. Like, I don't want to be here anymore. And I say to my kids often, like, things will happen. Like, when we were getting ready to jump, we went skydiving. I took Landon skydiving for his 21st birthday. And when we got to the top, he was like, Mom, you're not scared? I looked at him and I smiled. And I said, my life insurance is up to date. If anything happens, you guys will be some rich kids. And I just bailed out the side of the plane because I think sometimes as moms, we have, not only do we have our professional careers, you have the financial aspect of things. You have to make sure everything's running correct. You have to make sure everything's done. You've got bills to pay. You've got a house to keep clean. You've got laundry. Like, we have got a million things that never stops. And any woman on the face of this planet would be lying if they told you there was not a single time that they were so overwhelmed that they felt like they couldn't do it. It happens. We're human. Right.
So Laura, don't you think that I think for all 3 of us, I relate to Ashley, like just from my youth, I just became independent. Like, I knew I had to take, for similar reasons, just the validation piece, like I had to work through my feelings. And so for me, I'm a year maybe ahead of Ashley on processing the ability to be vulnerable, still with trusted sources. It's not like I'm going around being vulnerable to all of town, right? But I mean, when we're in women to women or my close circle of friends, these are women that I feel like are engaged and wanting to be supportive
Right.
and rallying each other, right? And so that was not who I was a few years ago. I was not in a place where I would just be very surface. I would give a little. And so I think what Ashley's trying to work through is what I think a lot of us women at various points, probably in our 40s, like maybe late 30s and then into our 40s, we start to realize like we can just show who we are, emotion and messy and put together, all of it,
But you have to be very careful who you show that to, though, because we do, we're a core group of women that support women, but at the end of the day, like, let's be honest, we have women that don't support women.
Correct.
Right. So it's like,
or men who want to ruin women, strong women.
Right. And like Ashley was just saying, like, I put my friends in like bubbles. Like, I know who I can call at midnight. I know who I can call during the middle of the day. I know who I'm not going to bother with anything. I know who has no life experience. I'm not calling someone to dump my dirty laundry if you don't have any life experience, right? So I need to know that the source that I'm feeding and I'm asking for a response back is a stable source for me.
100%.
So I put my people in compartments. Like, I mean, I know who I can call, who I can't call, who I can say, hey, listen, I'm having a really rough day. Can you cancel your plans and go out to dinner with me? But I'm also that girlfriend that I don't want to is a valid excuse. You know what I mean? So I feel like
Well, it's not an excuse though, is it?
It's really not.
That's where we have to get, like, and Ashley was very instrumental in me putting this together last year. I remember calling her one time and saying, I just really admire how you can say no. I'm a people pleaser naturally. And so I have a hard time saying no, but then back to what you've been saying a lot during this is that then I'm overwhelmed, like
Yeah.
with
Putting
this
too much
very
on your
thing.
plate.
Right. So when you just said like, I don't want to is a valid excuse. It's not an excuse. It's I can't commit to this because I know what it will create in other areas of the life I have to live in and how
Well,
to manage.
and here's what's really cool is I have a group of friends right now that are doing a lake house, and they all have littles. And littles, I mean like teenagers, and I don't. I have a
Yeah.
22-year-old and an 18-year-old. I'm out of that season. And I love their kids. I love them. But all of them together would put me in another realm of absolutely like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what would happen. I would probably don't know what would happen. And so I was like, guys, as much as I love you, I'm gonna back out of this. This is not my season of like, I'm not there,
Yep.
And so, and it's not that I don't want to be there, and I don't want them to have like, I'm excited to see their pictures. And you know what? We might come for a day, but we ain't spending the night because homegirl likes quiet sleep, total dark. I don't want no running around people. You know what I mean? Like, so I think for me, it's knowing what you want, and you say no to the things that don't serve you. And that would probably, I'd lose all of my friends that weekend. If I
But you know what? I'm the same way. I am. And I mean, my girlfriends will tell you, like I've told Katie numerous times, like I'll come over and help you with whatever, but I can only take it in small increments. And I feel like now at the point in my life, it's okay to talk about this, right? Like I've done my crazy days. They're 22 and 19. I've done the screaming. I've done the yelling. I've done the not being able to poop alone. Like I've done all that time. I've cleaned up milk off the floors. I've cleaned up vomit. Like I'm done.
But let me have one by myself. Like
Yes.
if I could just have one of them, I would love it. But you give me 12 of them?
It's too much.
It's too much for an old
And
lady.
I'm glad that I'm not the only woman who feels like that because
you're in a different season. You're different. I think that's what's treat. And then on our end, when she shared this with me, I was like, 100% get it. Like totally, it made sense immediately, and no hard feelings, right? I mean, but then that's also being in. It goes back to what we said early on, Laura, is knowing the friendships you have. Like,
right.
Are these your ride or die people? Are these your good time friends? Like what? Back to where you're saying you put them in bucket. Do you say buckets or categories?
Yeah, in like categories. Yeah.
It's just knowing where are these folks in their season of life and how they are able to show up. And in the group that's planning this, these are all very close friends who have healthy respect for where each of us are at in our lives.
Yep.
And we're okay with sometimes it aligns and sometimes it does. The same back at Ashley, like there's a group that goes on a cruise once a year, couldn't go last year, can't go this year. I just can't for the season of life I'm in. I just can't. Like I have to reserve like a week away for like a business trip or something in that regard. I can't do it for girlfriends. Do you know what I mean? But years from now, I'll be in that place, So I think just being transparent, but that's a hard thing to do unless you feel safe.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do too with how it's received, right? Like you have to know your circle. Like you have to know how your circle receives. So if like if I'm calling someone and I'm telling them blah, 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 and they say, hey, I can or I don't want to, it's received fine. I'm like, all right, cool, no problem.
Yeah.
Right. But some people, and we've all had these female friends where you call them and they're like, what do you mean? Why can't you go? Why don't you want to go? Listen, homegirl, I just don't want to go to the bar on a Tuesday night. Like, I don't want to do it. So being married to Jim, I was always a people pleaser as well. Always, 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 Nicole. And Jim taught me.
So many of us are.
Yeah, but Jim taught me it's okay to say no, Laura. Like, it's okay. And if somebody treats you badly, it's okay to cut that person out of your life and not give them 2, 3, 7, 8 chances. It's okay to be like, you know what? You're a season, reason, or a lifetime. Maybe you were just a reason to prove or to or to show, maybe I just look at it like the universe is trying to show me what I don't need in my life. Because sometimes it's going to bring those nasty, ugly people into your circle that you think are good people. And you have to find out, sadly, that they're not.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I learned I have to feed my mental health first. If you're not feeding your mental health first, you can't feed anybody else's. Fill your cup. Because if your cup's not filled, how do I pour? Right. So that's where it's at for me. Like it's, my girlfriends coming to me at the most vulnerable times in their life and being like, hey, listen, let me just lay this sword down in front of you. And I am an empath, but I will tell all my girlfriends, you can tell me anything. I have that like you can dump on me kind of personality, but we're going to leave it here. And it's not getting talked about. Like, we're going to leave it here. I'm going to act as if this conversation was never happening. It's off your plate. We're going to leave it right here. We're not visiting it again.
Yeah.
And I always, it's okay to go into a dark spot in life. You just can't stay there. You've got to get out.
Yeah.
So I find I watch my stimulation, like going back to that. I can't do a kid's birthday Saturday, Sunday and expect to show up my best self on Monday. I can't.
Right.
Yeah. That's so good. That's wisdom. So much wisdom in that right now. Yeah. Because then we wonder, we're like, why do I feel like this? And then you look back at your calendar and you're like, well, I, hosted a party on Friday. I did an open house on Saturday. I had a birthday party on Saturday night. Sunday, I went to church. And it's like, oh, that's probably why I feel this way. I haven't really ever taken a moment to breathe. So we have 3 minutes left to the
Okay.
So
time flies when you're having fun.
I know. Nicole, did you have a question that you want to ask?
Nope. I'm
okay.
good.
Well, I think for me, what I walk away from this conversation is just be real. Like it really is, and I think in the season that I'm in my life right now is defining what my real is. Like,
right.
Because especially being in business, especially being someone who has a presence on social media and all, you cannot put your presence on social media cannot be your real.
Yes.
And it never will be. And I think for me, being like traveling and speaking at conferences and doing all this stuff, I felt like I always had to be on stage. And because if I wasn't, somebody was going to catch me where I wasn't perfect and it was going to make me look flawed. And so there's a lot of power in the season that we're all in of just being who we are. But I think creating those communities like Women to Women and even smaller ones that you can say stuff that isn't necessarily easy to say.
And I think it's important.
Can we just say that social media is a highlight reel? Like I just, that's how I treat it's a highlight reel. It's what, the highlights of the week or the month or the day or the right. And other people use it as maybe their low light reel. You know what I mean? Like and listen, to each their own. If that's where you want to share your struggles too, cool. But it's certainly correct. It's not all comprehensive of who we are outside of social media.
Well, that's where I go with my bubbles, right? So like social media is not in any of those bubbles. Nobody I always call it fake book. Right?
I call it that too.
Yeah, because we share all of our peaks, but we don't share any of our pits. And I'm a person that, listen, man, I am so transparent with my life. I will share the pits. I will share them all. I will, but it's something that I feel like that vulnerability doesn't need to be there for the world to see. It can be there for my close girlfriends to see. I can discuss it with my close girlfriends. We can feed from one another. We can learn from one another, but we can face those struggles behind the limelight of social media.
Absolutely.
You need to put, I see people who overshare sometimes on social media. And again, if that's your therapist, that's okay. But that's just not right.
All right. We're less than a minute.
Okay. All right.
I don't want to cut you off.
Go ahead.
But if you use social media as your therapist, ChatGPT is also a really good idea.